And we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome. How are you guys doing today? It's a nice sunny Sunday afternoon here in Kelowna, where I'm at. What's going on with you guys? Not a ton to talk about today, so it should be pretty quick. Um, really just wanted to sort of check in with everybody, touch base, maybe go over some of the expected arrival dates for some of the figures that we're all waiting on. Um, but yeah, if you guys have any questions or if you guys have any comments or anything like that, fire away in the comments. We are now, as of this episode, live both on Facebook and on YouTube. So we'll see how that goes. We may have some comments coming in from who knows where. We did another stream in another group yesterday and got a few random comments, but it was kind of fun. Just doing something different. Right off the hop, I will say, this is brought to you by E-Collectibles. Right there. Mike at E-Collectibles, great dude. Definitely a guy that I like to support. And so when he asked to sponsor the StreamYard cast, I thought, hello again. Did I drop there for a second? Almost all the GI Joe stuff that's still uh, almost all the pre-order stuff is still available. So if you haven't got it, uh, get over there and get your pre-orders in. And while you're there, look at all the other cool stuff. Browsing his site is the reason that I got into Mythic Legions. So there's a lot of cool stuff to find there. Oh, bear with me here. Try and show comments. Forgive me, my laptop is not 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 doing what I want it to do. So forgive me. I gotta tap my phone here. I dropped for a moment. Yeah, I know my internet's being a bit funky, which is perfect for a first episode, right? This is how we do it. Bear with me for a second here. Let me just see if I can get in here. Okay, there we go. We're back up and running. Hopefully with no more hiccups. Hey, David. Hello, Jonathan. What's up, Chris? Christian. Who else we got? Joey's on today. That's awesome. We got James. We got Dean. Are you Telus or Shaw? I can't remember. I don't know. Anyway, I'm one of those. I can tell you that much. Chris says, I love seeing all the classified boxes lined up behind you. Yeah, problem is I've run out of room now. I've got 1 through 34 up there. I've got a little bit more room. I just have that that dumpster, the mini dumpster fire there as a placeholder for the next couple. But then after that, I don't know what I'm going to do. I might switch it up and go. I might go art side out, and I might sort of have my favorites up there, and sort of put the rest somewhere in storage or something like that. Is what I'm thinking I might have to do. I don't really know that I have a choice otherwise. James, what's up, buddy? So we got a few people on here. We got, which is always good, always fun. Makes it a lot easier for me because I can respond to comments and stuff like that. Chris, what is your favorite box art so far? Man, that's a tough one. I honestly, I think it might be the Scarlet box because I really like Phil Noto's art. I sort of got into his stuff when he was doing some Star Wars comic books, and so I was sort of drawn to that one. But that's from the first wave. by default, I like all the Snake Eyes ones because I love Snake Eyes. Um, there's not a lot that I dislike, I guess, is the sort of like that. The hardest part would be deciding what makes it on the shelf and what has to get cut. Um, I think the movie figures might be the first ones to go just because they're kind of duplicates. Although that, in saying that, that Akiko artwork is fantastic. So I don't know what would get the cut. Um, it would be tough. It would be tough. And I can only fit about 30 of them up there. So Christian, what is the YouTube channel name? I think it's just Northern Outpost. I just set it up a couple days ago, and this will be the first video on the channel. What I'll do afterwards is figure out the answer to that question, and post a link so that people can watch it there and subscribe there if they want. And then that way it might be a little bit easier to find videos if you ever want to go back and look at something. We'll do some other videos as well on there. I'm gonna do like I said, we don't have a whole lot to talk about today, so I'm gonna do as we're going, I'm gonna do the spinning wheel elimination last man standing for the contest that eCollectibles ran in the group to win a Sergeant Slaughter figure. So that's what we'll sort of have going on in the background. But like I said, I'm really just going to I'm really just going to go over, a couple of the release dates, and we can just chat for an hour. If that works for you guys. Chris, watching this as the monthly episode is uploading. I can't wait. I love those monthly ones. I think this month you're doing an O-ring one. Is that correct? An O-ring special? Oh, there, David's got the link to the channel. He's quicker than me. But anyway, without further ado, let's get this spinning wheel of death going here. Let me just get this up on the screen. I think this will work. And if not, well, we'll figure that out later. All right, so we've got our spinning wheel going there. As the spinning wheel is not terribly exciting, I will set it up like that. You probably can't see it that way, so we'll set it up like this. What I'm going to do is kind of click away. It's really not that exciting until we get down to the last few, so I'll just sort of be clicking this as I'm reading comments and replying. It does require me to sort of bounce back and forth between a couple different screens, so hopefully it doesn't get terribly annoying to listen to me while I'm sort of distracted and doing other things. Chris said, yeah, O-ring special this month. More classified stuff next time, though. Hey, that O-ring, I mean, the version, favorite versions that you guys are doing. So if you guys aren't aware, Christopher McLeod is AKA Diagnostic 80. He does the Full Force podcast, so the Full Force Weekly that we usually link to. I've been so slammed this week I didn't link it. I just realized. And then the Full Force Monthly, which is sort of a more topical, a little bit deeper dive into a specific, topic. All worth your time to watch. Always very fun. Always very funny, especially if you share the same sense of humor as Chris does. I most certainly do, and so that's a bonus for me, especially when there's references in there that a lot of people might not get. But anyway, click to spin. Let's see. Let's get going with the wheel of death here. Now, is the spinning wheel working on your end? Is the big question. And the first name eliminated is... I thought it was going to be me, and I was thinking that would be very appropriate. And it's Ray. You win being the first loser. So we're just going to go ahead and remove that and keep spinning. And I'm going to just keep doing this as we go. And forgive me, it's on my laptop, and the signal's not as great there, so it may It may not appear in the way that I'm seeing it, but rest assured, it's like I said, it's not that exciting until we get about to the last few. So, um, but yeah, that's Chris says thanks for the plug. Absolutely, man. Happy to. Your content is great. So I'm always happy to sort of guide people in that direction. Oh, you're clapping now too. Love the show, Christopher says Christian. Yeah, great show, great content. Um, always. Oh, I could turn the sound off. Let's do that. Always fun videos. I will wholeheartedly admit that I basically try to copy what Chris does most of the time because it works for me to watch it, and so I'm just sort of emulating it, hoping that it sort of works for other people to watch it. But like I said, I just wanted to sort of quickly go over um, some release dates based on sort of information that I have, and sort of put some people's minds at ease. I know that a lot of those Hasbro dates, we're showing 2023 for release dates, and I think what they've done, I think they've sort of hedged their bets in terms of just essentially um, under promising and over delivering, if that makes sense. I think I think they're smart to essentially give dates that are really really far out in advance, and then they don't necessarily have to worry too bad about hitting those dates, because if they say something's coming out in a week and it comes out in 2 months, people get upset. Now, if they say that something's coming out in a year and it comes out in 6 months, they look like heroes. So I think that's effectively what they're doing. I think it's a good strategy. I think there is going to be the people, there's always going to be people that sort of see those dates and panic, thinking that, we're not going to see any figures for like a year. Which is just not the case. Like I think we're right on the verge of sort of seeing new figures very regularly, which yeah. I mean, Chris, you make a good point. People get upset no matter what. Yes. um you know they could release a figure every week, and I think you'd still have people that would be like, not enough, and you'd still have people that would be like, too many. So yeah, I mean, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. I don't know that there's a happy medium. I don't know that there's a perfect balance of sort of release schedule. I don't know if there's a perfect balance of figure selection. I don't know if there's a perfect balance that's going to suit everybody for every wave and stuff like that. It's never that easy, right? There's so many different collectors that have so many different preferences in terms of how they collect and what they collect and which characters they want. And there's some people that want vehicles and other people that don't want vehicles, and people um, people that only collect classified, and then people that will sort of fill their shelves with other brands as well and sort of mix it all together. So it's impossible to please everybody, and I do think that Hasbro does a pretty good job, a pretty good job of appeasing most people. I think we've seen figures, with different decos. The first wave was sort of heavily based on the video game. There's been the redecos after that. I love the gold. I'm in the minority that the gold on the figures I thought looked really cool. But I get that it's not for everybody. Some people want kind of straight 6-inch scaled up versions of the vintage stuff. Some people want something in between. Like I said, you're never going to please everybody, but I think they're doing a really good job of at least trying. in the sense that at least they're, it's at least they seem to be listening to what people are saying. They're definitely listening and trying to correct. Um, Again, Chris, absolutely right. There's no such balance in existence. Like it just doesn't. It's just not going to happen. So I think it's kind of one of those things where um, you're always going to have critics regardless. But I do think that they're trying their best, whether they're hitting all the notes for everybody or not. I definitely think that they're trying their best. And again, I'm just like you, Chris. So happy the brand is thriving currently. Yes, I mean, and if you're somebody that only collects classified stuff and sort of sees all that other stuff as um, filler, remember that there's a guy who just wants the O-ring stuff, right? So, the idea that rising tide floats all boats. I mean, I think any GI Joe product that ends up on the shelf is is great for the brand. And whether that's a dollar store 2.5 inch little rigid figure, or the 12 inch, $10 um, figures, or the vintage or the O-ring or whatever. I think it all helps classified in the sense that the more money is coming into the brand and the more notoriety that the brand is going to get, and more eyeballs are on the brand, more shelf space or aisle space, I guess, in the toy store. But it's all good for everybody. Um, Jonathan, of the three big Hasbro lines, classified is doing the best right now. Well, Jonathan, again, like I've mentioned this a couple times, like we as collectors have a little bit of a myopic view, right? We think of Hasbro as sort of classified, classified Marvel Legends and Star Wars Black Series, maybe, if that's the big three that you're referring to. Um, but they've also got Transformers. They've also got Hungry Hippos. They've also got, I think Babies Alive, I think, as a Hasbro brand. Um, I think the action figures are a drop in the bucket for Hasbro. I don't think it's Hasbro isn't GI Joe classified, I guess is what I'm saying. Um, GI Joe classified makes up a very small percentage of their business. And because we love GI Joe classified, obviously, or you wouldn't be here. We just get really, really hung up on classified as synonymous with Hasbro, which I think maybe just isn't quite the same. But day one, Chris said, day one genuinely expected them to do it all, not a line of brand new design characters in its own universe and more classic designs. That would have been done under a classified classics banner or something like that. Yeah, when I saw that first wave, I kind of still thought that. I still thought, like, okay, we're not going to get all the classic designs. I thought I looked at the line, and not everybody loved the gold, but I think the sculpts and the designs people really liked. I'm still in that camp of people that want that sort of um, updated look. I'll take the classic stuff, but I think Chris, you've discussed in your videos, and I think I think it's a valid sort of argument, or a valid point that's been made, that you know if they do a bunch of classic designs to sort of appease people of the of the sort of vintage persuasion, then it kind of opens the door for like a version 2 in a sort of Pursuit of Cobra way, where you can get more new designs, you can get more reimagining of certain characters and certain details. There's so many characters to pull from, though, is the thing. And I'm here for all of them. I'm ready to buy just about any figure. As you guys know, there's a couple characters that I didn't like the vintage design, and character wise, I just don't know that they're sort of right up my alley. But let's be honest, when a pre-order goes up for a figure, I'm messaging Mike and I'm getting my order in. And then once I have it in hand, I usually fall in love with the figure anyway. So it's really, I mean, I'd be lying to you guys and I'd be lying to myself if I said that realistically there's any figures that I wouldn't buy. Um, on that note, like I just got my movie Scarlet figure, and she's a fantastic figure. But I already have a Scarlet, so it wasn't one that I necessarily needed. But it's a great figure, great sculpt, great design. May end up being a kit bash or something like that. We'll see. But anyway, like I said, I was just going to let me just quickly get through these comments here. Yeah, Chris, I'd be happy with them doing what Marvel Legends do, honestly. Just a bit of everything under the one umbrella. Comic, cartoon, modern, vintage. Yes, I don't, the retro carded stuff I think is fine. Um, and I think now that I've gotten sort of 1 through 34, I'm worried that I'm gonna be compelled by the numbers to sort of buy all the figures. It'll be interesting if a figure comes up that's numbered that I don't buy, to see if I can sort of break those chains. But as it stands now, like I said, I've gotten everything, and I haven't gotten everything because I'm a completist. I've gotten everything because I love everything that they've done so far, and everything that's planned, that's up for pre-orders. Um, so it's tough, and it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting when a figure comes out. It'll be interesting to see which figure comes out that is the first one that I pass on. But so far, no luck. Anyway. Hey, what's up, Tristan? We are just spinning this wheel to see who wins the e-collectibles contest. I apologize, we were a little bit late in this. I was supposed to get this wheel a little bit sooner, and like I said, I was just so busy. I just didn't get a chance to do the video as sort of a separate video and just post it. So we're just chatting, we're just hanging out. I was gonna sort of go over some updated release schedule stuff that I have, which is 5 minutes. So I mean, if I get to sort of 50 minutes, I can just sort of go through those really quickly, or I could do it now, I suppose. What do you guys want? You want to just chat and then I'll sort of rifle those off at the end, or should I do that now? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments there. Um, as I just keep spinning this wheel. Sorry, I'm looking at different pages. I'm not looking at you guys. It's but Jonathan, would that figure you pass on be based on character? For me, yeah. I mean, there's a few characters, like I said, that in the vintage line, I sort of as a kid and like now still, I just don't love them. Um, or I just don't know that I would necessarily need them on my shelf. But I've said that before, and I've said a couple of the figures that sort of come to mind. But that being said, like if the design is really good, it makes it harder to pass. It's it's sort of a combination of character and design. Um, but like I said, there's nothing that's come up yet where I've even considered not getting it. Even with the Python Patrol and Tiger Force stuff, um, when I look at Tiger Force Outback, I absolutely love because that's just such a cool deco and such a cool figure. And again, like um, an easy one to do a head swap if you want to have both on the shelf. Because the thing, I think it's very clever marketing for them to release an alternate deco first and then do the standard release second. Because what it effectively does is gives you a character that you want, but maybe not your favorite version. And I really, really, really want the standard release of. I really want. Oh, what's going on here? I really want the standard release of Outback, as I've said many times, and I'm sure we'll get that, and I'm sure we'll get it sooner rather than later because it's already tooled up and ready to go. All I got to do is mix different colored plastic and put it in the molds and set up the tempos a little bit different. Um, but it's sort of one of those things where if we get Tiger Force Outback, and we're getting Tiger Force Recondo, and we're getting Tiger Force Bazooka, great figures in their own right, but um, also I want the standard release versions, and I want standard release versions more than I want the Tiger Force. Um, so that's sort of where like I might pass. Like I might pass on. I mean, I'm saying it now, but like I said, I doubt it's I doubt it's gonna be true. I could see myself passing on Tiger Force Recondo or Tiger Force Bazooka, in favor of getting the standard release. It'll really come down in a lot of ways to when they announce those figures. If they Tiger Force Outback should be arriving sooner rather than later. If tomorrow they announced standard release Outback, I might be less. No, not with Outback. That's a bad example because I want both versions. If they announced, standard release Bazooka tomorrow, knowing that I'm waiting for both, I might prioritize one over the other. Because as I've said, like, the prices are going up, and you got to cut them somewhere. Because I also think we're gonna get tons of figures this year, so I'm not really worried in that respect. But let me see. We know you won't be passing on a Serpentor because you're a big fan. Yeah, Serpentor is the way. Like, Serpentor is one where, like, I love the design, just as a design. I just don't love the character, and I just don't love if they don't modernize it. The Twins is a good example of one that, like, I'm still like, they're too classic, and they kind of, they're almost out of place in the collection in a way. You got a bunch of like really modern stuff, and then you got a couple guys in like Mindbender as well. Like, as much as I love that, and to be honest, if the line, this goes back to what Chris said, like, a little bit of everything will be fine. And I think if we see that, like, if we see some modern designs and some vintage designs, some cartoon designs, I think when they sort of balance that out, it'll all work out. But as the direction seems to kind of have changed a few times, it's I'm just trying to figure out how they're all going to fit on my shelf on my display, but we'll see. Chris, you take any character because I'm a shill. Yeah, but I mean, there's no bad ones. You know what I mean? Like, there's no really bad characters, and the ones that are maybe really bad, I just don't know that we'll see. I just don't know that they'll sort of go that deep. Armadillo. Yeah, are you saying Armadillo is one of the bad ones? I mean, there's bad ones. Like, there's ones that are like less iconic and less desirable, but there's so many characters for them to get through before they get to somebody like Armadillo that I don't really know that they'll ever sort of need to go that far, right? Like, and like I said, if we see multiple versions of different stuff too, we could see. Snake Eyes is one, right? Where there's like 60 some odd versions of Snake Eyes in the vintage line. We could see a lot of versions of Snake Eyes before we see something like Armadillo. And some people will be upset because a lot of people want more characters and don't necessarily want 10 versions of Snake Eyes, but I do. I'm happy to have multiple versions of Snake Eyes and multiple decos of the same Snake Eyes. Original one with the red dot above the visor, redeco without the red dot above the visor. I've got the Fortnite one on order. I've got the movie version. I've got the 00 Hasbro Pulse exclusive. What other version? Commando Snake Eyes. Bring it on, man. I'm happy to have all of them. Bring it on. Give me 68 versions of classified Snake Eyes. Because if we get 68 versions of classified Snake Eyes, it means that we've got hundreds of figures available. So, Dean's, I want standard Recondo, and the Tiger Force is enough that I'll bite and be happy, then buy the standard when it comes to. Yeah, and I think that's the marketing strategy. That's the plan, right? If they can get you to buy this one now, then you're almost guaranteed to buy the other version. Recondo is another character where I just don't love the character. But the weird thing about the Recondo is that the Tiger Force Recondo, I think would be great for kit bashing. So I'll get one of those, not to keep as a Recondo, but to use as a kit bashing fodder. So we'll see. Expect any pre-paints to get the redeco treatment in every single possible option. Yes, and like I said, bring it on. Everybody's got a different favorite version. Chris, I think you and I are very, very excited, very much looking forward to them doing a version 4 Snake Eyes and sort of seeing how they would potentially do that. Bring on the coral pink accessories is what I say. Yeah, I mean, that figure's just so good. That's so good with the blue and anyway. Yes, Jonathan, I agree with this. Glad they're doing the OG paints as normal releases, keeping the alts as exclusive releases. We don't need the Cobra Island issues again. Yes, I think you're absolutely right, and I think, I certainly don't know, but I suspect that Hasbro may have sort of worked out, how to release the figures in terms of the exclusives, and I think they've seen that by and large, collectors have sort of said, if there's going to be exclusives and they're going to be harder to find, please don't make them, the standard release or what should be a standard release version. But we've also gotten pretty decent options. The Trooper became the infantry, and pretty easy to come by that infantry. So if you didn't get a Trooper, you're not lacking, blue shirts. James, I bet we'll see the regular release of Bazooka, Recondo, and Outback on Cardback Retro this Yojo June. I don't think they'll be retro carded. I think all of those characters. I think we'll probably just see as standard releases. I think those will be up for now. Whether it'll be June or not, who knows? I think we'll have lots of stuff come up in June. I'm already starting to sort of set some coins, some pocket money aside for June. Got a couple months to sort of save up for what I expect to be a pretty massive month for ordering GI Joe stuff. Tristan, yeah, I wanted Tiger Force so bad when I was a kid, but never got any of it. So I'm excited for Tiger Force stuff. Yeah, and I, the Tiger Force deco, I always loved as a kid. I was never that into the Python Patrol stuff. I was very much more interested in Tiger Force. One of the first vehicles that I had that I absolutely loved was the I think it's called the Tiger Sting, the Vamp in Tiger Force deco. I just, oh man, that I love the Vamp. But I didn't have a Vamp as a kid. I didn't have a Stinger as a kid. But I did have that one. I did have the Tiger Force one, and that was my favorite vehicle by far. So, yeah, Hungry Hippos. Yeah, I mean, I'll take it all. I mean, it's it's easy for me to say that there's going to be characters and that there's going to be figures that I won't want, but I mean, history's already proven me wrong. So, um, yes, that's yeah. In in 2 years, like I've got 34 boxes up there, but I've got doubles a bunch of those, and there's boxes that aren't even up there because they don't fit. Well, yeah, you can see them above. So I've got the limited releases or the special editions and stuff up there as well. Um, it's remarkable, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I love how many characters we're getting. I love how many figures we're getting, but I would absolutely love if there was sort of a rhythm to it and there was sort of a pattern to it. I would be happy with 12 to 16 figures per year, um, and to get them sort of quarterly, so sort of the equivalent of like one new character a month. Um, because there's just so much coming. It's almost overwhelming in the best possible way. Don't get me wrong. It's overwhelming in the best possible way. But anyway, let's see what else we got here. Yeah, repaints are a necessary thing, and when the budget is tight, then you just have to expect them to redeco figures. I feel like too many people haven't come to terms with that, and it makes their life a touch more miserable. Yeah, and I mean, again, it sort of makes me think too about um, the impatience of us as collectors. And but what I mean by that is, you know, Tiger Force Outback gets announced, and everybody needs one because everybody needs Outback. But there, there's that vocal minority that's sort of bemoaning the fact that it's not the standard release Outback. Um, and they kind of just don't trust that Hasbro knows what they're doing. They don't trust that Hasbro is going to release a standard release of an Outback. I mean, it just makes sense. A bunch of his parts are new molds, so why would they create new molds for somebody that they're just going to do a redeco version of, and kind of move on? It just doesn't make sense. Um, you know, have patience, and just understand that we're gonna get what we deserve and what we want. Um, let me see here. What do we got? What do we got? Joey, top 3 figures that you'd sell your kidneys for: Xandar, Hit and Run, Tunnel Rat. I want all of those. And to be honest, I think we'll get all of those. I think there's no way that we're not going to get all 3 of those. Like there's absolutely no way that we're not going to get those. And I don't think you'll have to sell a kidney for them either. I think we sort of talked about pricing and stuff on the last video, but I don't see these getting much higher price wise. I think it's kind of leveled off a little bit because I think that the price has caught up with the cost, if that makes sense. So Hasbro announced the figures early, and then they sort of set the price, and then by the time they get delivered, I think they were probably not as profitable as they should have been, and so they've course corrected that a little bit. Now Toys R Us pricing is outrageous. Just don't bother buying anything from Toys R Us if you don't have to. um you know it's Excuse me for a second, somebody's banging on my door here. No. All right, I'm back. Okay, where are we at? Seen some amazing customs of Snake Eyes version 4 using the Alpha Commandos figure. That would be fine for me. Yeah, I look at that figure too, and I honestly look at the sculpting of the harness and stuff like that, and sort of how they've sort of set the visor up, and I think to me, it looks more like version 4 than it does look like version 1 or 1.5. So, I can't help but think that there's a reason that it looks so much like version 4. Um, and I'm all for it. I'm really hoping we get that figure. And if it's a redeck, if it's essentially a redeco, I'm all in. I'm happy for it. And if he comes with a timber that's redecoed or something, I'm all in for that too. Give me more timbers. I love that thing. Christian, I would love to see some of the non-North America paint jobs. Well, Tiger Force Outback is one such deco. And there's tons more. There's tons more. There's other Tiger Force characters that weren't released in North America. There's Brazilian and Indian and other countries that had releases of figures where they just repainted existing characters and gave them different names too. They didn't always have the same character names. So it'll be interesting to see if we get if we get a redeco of a character, but it's renamed sort of to honor, the original release that sort of matches it, which I think would be like a cool way to go, personally. Now, would there be people that didn't like that? Yes, absolutely. You're gonna have people that are like, but that's Snake Eyes, and you didn't call him Snake Eyes. It's like, well, yeah, because it's there's a history there. But who knows? Sorry, I was skimming through, trying to sort of keep up with comments and questions here. Would you like to see more standard waves? No, that's the thing. There's kind of a balance. Like I've said this. I think I've said this in live videos before, where Star Wars Black Series and Marvel Legends are a little bit different, in that if you're a Star Wars fan, so for instance, I only buy Black Series figures that are characters from The Mandalorian, main ones too. Like I'm not getting everything, or versions of Luke Skywalker, and I just want Luke Skywalkers from Black Series. So as cool as like the Rogue One wave is, or as cool as Jar Jar Binks is, or whatever, I'm not buying everything. I don't need every character. And as far as Marvel Legends go, I pretty much just do the X-Men stuff. And Marvel Legends is an even better example because if you're an Iron Man fan, there's lots of stuff out there for you. If you're a Spider-Man fan, there's lots of stuff out there for you. But there's essentially different properties. Like there's people that are going to buy every Marvel Legends figure. There's people that are completists with Marvel Legends. I have no idea how they keep up. But there's people like me that will only buy certain waves, and even and I won't even buy all the X-Men waves. Like the one that just got pre-ordered. I'm kind of on the fence about it. There's a couple characters that I would like, but there's no characters that I need. Now, when you look at G.I. Joe, there's so many characters that I want, and they're all from the same universe in a way, right? Like they're all the cartoon, the comic books, the different stuff. There's people that are going to have preferred characters, but most people, like, even if Flint isn't your favorite character, you're going to buy Flint. And if Duke isn't your favorite character, I think Joey, I think you said, like, even if Duke's not your favorite character, you're probably going to buy Duke. So I don't want more waves because that would just be more figures that I would have to buy. That's the short answer. No, I don't want more waves because I don't want more figures than they're already releasing, which is already a lot. Yeah, exactly. And it's weird to think they won't release a standard Outback. There's no way. the weird. I've mentioned it before, but like the weird one is like Beachhead, right? Like that to me just looks like the classic Beachhead. That looks like it should have been a standard release Beachhead. I don't. Again, I don't know because I don't work at Hasbro and I'm not involved in the decision making process. But I think they figured out that they can do the redecos through exclusive channels and the standard release as sort of the standard decos, and I think that makes the most sense. Trying to figure out where I am in the comments so I don't miss anything. I am gonna miss some. I have already sort of skipped some guys. I apologize. Very lively discussion today, which is great. I hope that I'm getting to sort of the bigger questions. I am sort of skipping some of the comments. Facebook user says, "Hey all." I am skipping some of those types of comments, but yeah, I think you're right, Tristan. I imagine we won't see the standard release until after the Tiger Force versions are on shelves. I think it would be a little bit silly to have them sort of competing against each other for shelf space. Because I think by and large the standard releases would probably win, but I mean that's just my suspicion. Larry, thank you for joining us. Yeah, I hope that we get to hear all about your weekend. I know that you're down in LA doing the Transformers convention there, so keep us posted. Christian, I never had Outback as a kid, but the special missions cover he was on left a lasting impression. Excited for any version. Yes, I absolutely loved that vintage figure as a kid. He was one of my go-tos. I had a handful of figures that were sort of always on all the missions, and so I'm really happy to get those. Outback being one, Bazooka. I'm just realizing that it's all the guys in sort of plain shirts. Outback being one, Bazooka being one, Chuckles being one. Loved all of those guys, and we've got 2 of 3 in Tiger Force, and I don't need Tiger Force Chuckles, although I'd be all over that. But I hope to see all those figures sooner rather than later. But we'll see. Yes, version 2 of Storm Shadow would be amazing. And that the version 1 Storm Shadow already comes with the hood, so it's really just a matter of like swapping the arms, like you said. It could be, and then adding that awesome deco, that awesome camouflage. But I think we'll see that one too. Like I think that's kind of a no-brainer as well. Yeah, this is a big, if I only Tristan said if I only collected GI Joe, it'd be fine with more stuff per year, but I collect Transformers among others as well. Yeah, there's a finite amount of expendable income. And you make decisions based on what you got, what you want, how you want your collection to work. Yeah, it's a bit tough, so. Dean, no, I'm going to do release dates a little bit later. I'll just kind of do them. Well, I guess no, we'll do them right now because we're around the hour mark. I still got lots of this wheel to spin. What I'll do is I'll wait till we're down to the last few on the wheel, and then I'll do release dates, and then we'll focus on this wheel a little bit. I'm just clicking it. I'm not even really paying attention to sort of which names get eliminated because there were so many on there, which is great. But we'll see. Chris, would you be interested in brand new characters? Yes, absolutely. I think I might be in the minority in that regard. But I say bring it on. I mean, when oh, I got eliminated again. Chad, Chad, 3 eliminations in a row. Unfortunately, there's no prize for that. And that was my last spin on there. So I'm out. But yeah, going back to Chris's question there, would you be interested in brand new characters? Yes, absolutely. And they've been introducing new characters in the comic book recently. And I would be more than happy to get those. I would be more than happy to have a character that wasn't even in the comic book, right? Like the way that we used to get figures, where you'd get a wave of figures and there'd be a new character, and then they'd have to write them into the comic or write them into wherever. Bring it on. If they've got a cool design, a cool deco for a character, then bring it on, because that's why not, right? Like, why not? But I guess the counter argument that you're going to hear from, I think, a lot of people is like, well, there's so many great characters to choose from, why would they add more? And I would say, why not? Because they can't. Why wouldn't they? um Dean, yeah, I mean, I get that, right? It's that's hard. Lots of this is nostalgia for me. Either the comic or the cartoon pulled me in along with childhood memories. If there's no new content introducing the new character, that makes it harder. And there are so many yet to do already. Yes, I mean, absolutely. And there's certainly an argument to be made there. And not everybody is reading the comic book. The comic book is still going strong. It's still great. I loved, Chris, you'll probably know the answer to this. Was it Paul Allard that did that sort of reimagining of G.I. Joe? That I think he only got 10 or 12 issues and then a one shot at the end. And it was fantastic. And I hoped it would go longer, and I hoped that we would see those characters in the classified line, because there was such great characters there, and it was just a really cool reimagining of GI Joe, where kind of Cobra had won essentially, and GI Joe was kind of um, like a rebel counterinsurgent force. It was really cool. Yes, absolutely. Thinking something specific to classified, like Helix was made for the Rise of Cobra game. Yes, I mean it's. Um, I look at I look at Sherlock in the comic, and I don't love that character necessarily, but I think why not introduce a new figure, a new character. There's no reason, to me, there's no reason not to. And especially if that character exists sort of within the canon, everybody's fair game, I think. If they were introduced and give a backstory, I'd be down for new. Yeah, and but I guess the question, Facebook user and Dean, because you're sort of the two people that commented. It's the question is, where would you want the backstory to come from? Like I said, are you reading the comic books? Are you sort of keeping up with what's going on? Kamakura is a good example, because a lot of people saw Kamakura and they were like, "Who? Like what?" Multiple people messaged me and they said, "Who is this guy? Like what is it?" I um had to kind of explain that. Spoiler alert: he becomes Snake Eyes. Now, if you want to know the details of that, you got to read the comic book. So it's kind of one of those things where I think a lot of people, maybe read the Marvel comics and watched all the cartoons, but sort of didn't keep up with Devil's Due and Image, and then now IDW, and soon, for 2023, hopefully somebody else will sort of pick up where IDW leaves off, and we'll still get more GI Joe comic books, but that's kind of the main place where the story is still being told. So, um, thank you, Chris, for confirming. Yes, Paul Allard did that. It was a great series, and World on Fire. Um, yeah, it was great. Yes, you're right, Joey. The comic. I don't know that the comic is ending this summer. IDW did lose the rights, but it'll be interesting to see whether the person that picks up the rights continues with the sort of continuity of that book, or whether they start fresh or sort of take a different approach, or what. That remains to be seen. But I'm anxiously awaiting to sort of see what comes of that. So. Um, um, okay, so yeah, yeah. I mean, if they're coming in the comics, that's great. You're absolutely right. If they do a new cartoon, I'll watch it. I will absolutely watch it as well, and my kids will probably watch it as well. And that might be the platform where they can introduce a couple new characters. And if they go that route too, you don't have to go too deep to sort of get used to the new character. I think then that sort of opens up the potential for the new figures to seamlessly kind of get into the line. Um, yeah. Hey Pete, comics would be a great start if they came out with a new video game, which I've heard rumors of. That would be a good platform to introduce new characters. Yes, absolutely. So there's rumors of a new cartoon. There's rumors. There's not rumors of a new game. There's a studio working on a new game. They're still doing the comic books, and I can only imagine that if IDW is losing the rights, somebody will be picking it up. I haven't heard anything yet about who's picking it up, but like I said, somebody's going to pick it up, and they're going to do something with it. If they're not going to continue, maybe IDW goes to 300, and that sort of run, that continuity ends at 300, which I think would be fine. So long as somebody picks it up and does something cool with it after that. And we'll just have to sort of wait and see in that respect. But yeah, I mean, the comic, the cartoon, a video game, however they sort of choose to sort of keep the story going, would be great. Would be a great avenue to introduce new characters. And going back, yes, I would love new characters. Jonathan, yeah, that's an interesting take. I wonder if they could do a brand new G.I. Joe in a new world or alternate history as a way to bring in new characters, kind of like Beast Wars did with Transformers. I know they have been hits and misses for that kind of stuff throughout history. Yeah, I mean, world like a worlds without end kind of thing. I mean, if you've never seen the two-part cartoon Worlds Without Ends, watch that, and you get an alternate universe. And yeah, you could absolutely do that. The danger there is a little bit like if people aren't paying attention 100%, then it's you're sort of catering to a potentially smaller audience, and that will impact demand. And like I said, there's so many characters, still to be made that I don't know that they'll go that route sooner rather than later. Yeah, Dean, that's Kit Patches are still okay by me. A great looking figure would be hard to pass up regardless of backstory. Yeah, I agree. Tiger Force Wakando. I don't need Tiger Force Wakando. But I look at the parts on that figure and I think you could do a lot with those parts. So I'll probably get them. Oh, Joy, I was told it's ending, and when it's picked up again, it starts with new numbering. I'm okay with that. I certainly don't have a problem with that. I think in a lot of ways that's clever from a marketing perspective, because if you're the psychology of getting in on issue 1 is that you're getting in at the beginning of the story. So I think it's not a bad idea to start fresh. Even if the characters are familiar to people, you still get that blank slate to sort of start from. So yeah, the Christian, you mentioned that IDW is releasing a new version of the Silent issue with a different artist for each page. It's yeah, that sounds weird to me if I'm being honest. It sounds cool, and I'll probably pick it up. Um, I just don't like I don't like it. I feel like it'll be a bit jarring when you go from one page to the next if the art is too dissimilar from one page to the next. It won't feel like there's continuity. Um, but that's just me. Um, who's still in? We got a few people still in. Ken Poe's still in there a couple times. Chad's still in there. Eddie's still in there. Johnny, Mark, Ryan. A couple guys with a couple names in there still. So, um, oh, it looks like I'm caught up with the comments here, so that's good. We're getting close, guys. We're getting right down to it here. Like I said, we'll wait till we're down to about 4, and then I'll sort of quickly go over the release schedule as it's somewhat been shared with me. Some of it's speculative, but some of it is sort of based on Hasbro Canada information. But we'll get there in a minute. What's the wheel for? What did I miss? The wheel is from the e-collectibles contest that we ran in the group. So anybody that pre-ordered the latest wave from Mike at e-collectibles got their name entered in the wheel for a draw, and the winner, the last name on the wheel, will win the Valaverse Action Force Sergeant Slaughter to be shipped with their classified figures when they're ready to ship. Oh, and there's Mike. Thanks for everyone who joined our contest. We will try to do one for every Joe release, and it'll be in our group because our group is the best. And Mike is the best. A lot of great Canadian retailers, but honestly, my opinion is that Mike is the best. So. Oh, that's a great reference. That's a great reference, Tristan. Pre-orders do get charged at time of pre-orders. That being said, you know, my opinion is it has been and always will be. You're paying for them either way. So I would rather sort of have my money sort of and pay for them. You know, if I've got the money to pay for them, I can lock my pre-orders in. If I don't have the money, I kind of rather not commit to buying them anyway, because then when they do become available and payments due, I still might not have the money, right? So my opinion on that is you're going to pay one way or the other. I'd rather pay when I'm purchasing. So, but everybody's different. I get that. Today's lesson is pre-order your stuff from e-collectibles. Yes, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more, Jonathan. You know, a lot of it too, guys, is you know, Mike, like I said, you know, Mike reached out and wanted to sort of support the group, and he's running contests only in the group. You know, he's paid for the StreamYard subscription, so you know, the least I can do is tell you guys how great Mike is and how great e-collectibles is. Ooh, we're getting down to it. Ken Post still got his name in there twice. I don't even think he's watching the video. Somebody message him and let him know that he's very close to winning an Action Force figure. Ooh, Eddie. Eddie's still got a chance. Johnny's still got a chance. Ken and Ryan. Right down to it. Right down to it. We're down to 5. Let's give it one more spin so that we're down to 4. Or should we give it 2 more spins so we're down to the final 3? Let's do that. We'll do 2 more spins so we're down to the final 3. We will go over the figures that are upcoming and sort of the rough dates that I've sort of collected from a few different places, sort of compared them to what Hasbro Pulse is saying. A couple things that I've seen, in other groups and things like that, and we'll go there. And we're at an hour and 8 minutes. We're not doing too bad. We're not going crazy. Okay, so Ken's down. Ken's down to the last. Okay, we're down to 4. So why don't we go over the schedule and then we'll do the spins. Let the tension build for those final 4. All 4 of them are not watching, as far as I know. If your name's still on the wheel and you're watching, chime in. Let us know. Anyway, what we've got coming up, Crocmaster, I believe, will be the next figure that we will see shipping. The reason that I say that is he's apparently popped up in the US on store shelves, which makes me think that the figures are being distributed now. I had always had April for Crocmaster as far as the date that I was sort of expecting it. So that's very much in line with what I had anticipated. It feels like there's been a lull, hey? It doesn't feel like we haven't gotten figures in a while. Some people were lucky enough to get Bats and Alley Vipers in sort of January-ish. Or was that early February, give or take? I guess it's just a month, right? Like it's funny that it's funny that a month seems like a long time to wait in between different waves. But like I said, we may see Crocmaster sooner rather than later. After that, Spirit, Storm Shadow, and the Cobra Officer are sort of the next up, or sort of the next ones that we can expect. And so Hasbro has them listed. Let's see here. So we'll just do this. Hasbro has Crocmaster listed as April 1st. And like I said, this is sort of in line with what we sort of expected, and there's been pictures of Crocmaster on the shelf. Who knows how accurate it is? Who knows if it's true or not? But we got Crocmaster for April 1st. Storm Shadow on Hasbro Pulse is listed for July. Whoops. My apologies. I just dropped the screen there. There we go. Storm Shadow is listed for July 1st. Again, I anticipate that this might be a little further out than he's actually going to start showing up. I think we might see Storm Shadow, and I think we might see Spirit a little bit sooner than July 1st. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have them in hand by July 1st, but I think we'll start seeing distribution. I think we'll start seeing them pop up, on those dates. Spirit's there for July 1st as well. And that's Hasbro Pulse. And typically, if Hasbro Pulse is distributing them at that time, it kind of makes sense that we'll see them everywhere else as well. Hasbro Pulse tends to be one of the last to fulfill their orders. And I think the reason for that is if you're Toys R Us or Target or Walmart or e-collectibles, you don't want the manufacturer fulfilling orders before you can, because then it makes you look bad as a retailer. So I think they typically hold back product a little bit from Pulse, so that other retailers sort of get a chance to get figures out in people's hands. Because if you're not first, you're last, baby. So yeah, so that's Storm Shadow and Spirit. And then I can only assume that the Cobra officer as well. I believe that they're in the same wave. And if not, I think they'll probably be pretty close to each other. So, May, June, July, maybe at the latest. But like I said, I think I expect them a little bit sooner. Part of the reason that I expect them sooner is because, bear with me, because I don't think this date is accurate. So they've got Stalker as well as the twins listed for May of 2023, and I think that's where, like I said, sort of at the beginning of the show, I think they're hedging their bets. I think they're sort of playing it safe. I think they know that they can deliver it before that date, and so they're listing that date so that they are, like I said, under promising and over delivering. Yes, those dates are definitely worst case scenarios, and yes, I think that's like if everything goes wrong, we might not see them till then. But I think they're very, very sure that we're not going to have to wait that long. Then yeah, like I said, so I don't have a tab for everybody, but again, these are listed for May 1st, 2023, just like Stalker is. I've heard sort of different dates. I've heard kind of mid to late summer though. Kind of best case scenario, like if everything falls in line, I don't think we're going to be waiting till sort of May of 2023. I think we're more like June, July, August of this year, which does sort of put that schedule on a nice sort of monthly release, which is great. The Viper 3-pack, I think, is going to ship after that. So I think that might be sort of late fall. So if we're sort of seeing every 2 months or so, if we got Stalker and the twins, say in July, then we could sort of see October maybe for the Vipers. Keep in mind too that there might be other figures that sort of fit into the shipping schedule as well. That maybe something at Yojo June is available right away in June. It wouldn't surprise me at all if there's a few releases that sort of sneak through in terms of releases, unexpected releases. Oh, this is a good question. We'll do this after I get well, no, the Vipers was sort of the last one that I had. And then like I said, there could be random stuff that pops up. Oh, right, Dean. Python Patrol Bats, Vipers, and Outback Tiger Force. I think we'll see those sooner rather than later. I think those will probably be sort of May, June as well. That I don't know, because that's a little bit tougher one, because that's Target and Toys R Us, and if I'm being honest, I just don't have the same I don't have the same information coming from those retailers as I do from some other retailers. I typically reach out to the Canadian online retailers and ask them if they have any updates for dates, and then I have a couple other spots where I get some of the information too. So we'll see. I could be totally wrong. This stuff could all show up in 2023. Christine, the last Hasbro celebration seemed to concentrate on classified. I wonder if Yojo June will be more O-ring focused. I don't think so. I think classified is kind of the line. I think the 6-inch scale is kind of the scale. I think Hasbro is as far as G.I. Joe goes, I think Hasbro is all in on classified, and then I think there's lots of other options. They do the O-ring. They can do some other options as well. Different licenses, different brands. They did the Super 7 reaction figures popped up, so they're doing other stuff. They're doing different stuff, but I think classified is is like the brand. Now, as I said, all those figures are coming up pretty soon, and almost all of them are still available for Mike. If you don't have your order in yet, I think Spirit is the only one that is sold out. But yeah, if you didn't yet, get your orders in. Get your orders in sooner rather than later, because as soon as anything sort of is in the warehouse and goes to in stock, it disappears real quick. I can assure you of that. So if you want to make sure that you get your figures when they do release, get your orders in. Which brings us back to our Wheel of Destiny, or our spinning Wheel of Death, depending on how you. But let's quickly just take a look at this. Are there any versions of characters you'd like to see who already have figures in the classified line, other than version 4 Snake Eyes and version 2 Storm Shadow? Mine's Stalker Tundra Ranger. That Stalker is a fantastic figure. You could get the deluxe with his kayak and the machine gun and the backpack bit and like all of it. I would love it. That'd be great. Or they could update it and do like he had a paddle, and I always thought like he's got a kayak and a paddle. If he gets in trouble, he got to paddle himself to shore. Like, how's he going to use a weapon when he's got a paddle? But I love that figure anyway. Tristan said Ninja Force Zartan. Yes, that's such a great deco with the mohawk, the orange mohawk. What would I like to see? What other versions would I like to see? It's not. I guess it's not another version, but it's. You could basically just do a repaint of Beachhead, and we could get Shockwave. I think that's close, right? Isn't that close? Who else? I'm just trying to think of like which figures. That's a tough one. They've done such great. They've made such good choices in the versions and the decos that they've done that I've been happy with all of them. And I'm just trying to think of maybe the Iron Grenadiers Destro. I think that would be a cool one. Yeah, I don't know. It's so hard because like the versions that we have are so good. So it's hard to sort of and there's so many more characters to come, right? Like there's so many more characters to come that I just don't know that I need another version. I mean, there's just so many characters. That's a hard question. Dean, Cobra Commander version 3. Yeah, that's a cool one. Red Ninja version 2. Yeah, we could get repaints of those. And that's like you said, that's an easy one. It's just a repaint of Storm Shadow. You could get I can't remember what he's called, but the like turquoise. There's the turquoise ninja that they did too. That I think was a mail away as well. And I don't have that picture pulled up, so I can't show you the reference. But just different versions of sort of ninja characters. I think would be fantastic. Okay, let's spin this wheel. As I said, the winner will get their bonus figure mailed out with their figures when they arrive. So, or I guess with like their next shipment. I don't know. I'd have to ask Mike. I'd have to confirm that with Mike. But it's not looking good for Ken. Not looking good for Ken. If down to the final three. It's getting close. Christian, if you sign in, you should be able to see your previous orders. I'm not sure what that is in reference to. But anyway. Oh, Mark. Not looking good for Mark. Looks like it's down to Johnny and Eddie. Down to the final two, and neither of them is watching. But we must have a winner. So I will say the arrow is going to land on somebody. They won't be the winner. Their name will be eliminated. So the last man standing will be the winner. And oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, is it going to cross over? Yep, it's crossed over. Bad news for Johnny. Great news for Eddie. Johnny is out. Eddie is the winner. You know, let's spin the wheel and see see whose name comes up. Oh, the suspense is killing me. The suspense is killing me. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? I mean, obviously the winner. Obviously, it's Eddie. Eddie, congratulations, buddy. You win. Mike, I'm sure we'll be in contact and get you set up with your prize there. So, all right, guys. That's all I had. That's all I got. Anybody got another version of a character that they'd like to see in the line? Yeah, Tristan, funny. It's slightly funny that Tiger Force has been all new characters so far, while Python Patrol is Trooper repaints. Well, that's in line with historically what they did with the vintage line, so it makes sense. I also think it's a smart move. You know, if you're doing a repaint of a troop builder, I think it's pretty safe to say that you're going to sell a few. And if you're doing a repaint of a character that already was in the line, you might not sell as many. But like I said, if you're sort of doing if you're doing a new character in a sort of alternate deco, you might sell more units. I think it comes down to a very clever marketing strategy. Oh, Ninja Force Scarlet, yeah. Would they do if they did that Ninja Force? If they did a Ninja Force wave, would they have the action? You know, would Scarlet have her kicking leg, and would they have swinging arms and stuff like that? That would that would ruin it. But oh, Eddie, out of nowhere, Eddie joins us. Thanks, everyone. Well, thanks for joining us, Eddie. Better late than never. Tiger Force Roadblock, yeah. You know what? I'm actually looking forward to Tiger Force Duke. I'm curious to see whether they do the like the different hair color. In the vintage figures, you know, the original Duke had the very blonde hair, which matches the classified figure that we have. But the Tiger Force Duke had like brown hair, so I'm curious to see whether they do a brown haired Duke. And if they do, it's great because then it kind of looks like a different figure on your shelf there. Tiger Force Roadblock, those colors are really, really good. Star Brigade Destro, sure, why not? I would love to see, different waves reimagined. The Ninja Force stuff, the Star Brigade stuff. They're already showing that they're not opposed to that, right? With the Python Patrol and Tiger Force, so why not? Oh yeah, Firefly is Sabretooth, the unreleased Tiger Force repaint. How crazy would it be though if a Target exclusive figure, which is a Firefly, got repainted and re-released as another Target exclusive in the form of Sabretooth? That would be awesome. Hard to find the first time, hard to find the second time. Dean, I think it's safe to say you want bats. Jungle Bat, Arctic Bat, Alley Viper version 13 or 5 or 7. Is I can only, I mean, I can assume that that's like the black and gray and red one. I would love that. I think that would be fantastic. Um, Nano bat, yeah. Or what? I can't remember which version it is of the bat, but the bat, like the bat from like I think it's like version 2 bat, maybe the one that's like orange, got neon orange and like lime green. I think that would be fantastic too. Um, Dean, there's a couple versions of Alley Viper, and I don't know if I don't know which versions are which because I don't have sort of the versions all pulled up. Um, but like all the decos of Alley Viper are pretty cool. Um, there's the yellow one with the black stripes. There's the like I was gonna say orange and blue, but that's what the standard one is. But there's another sort of orange and blue one that's really, really cool as well. Christian says all the Arctic outfits. Yeah, I'm of the opinion that I think it would be easy if they just did, a couple Arctic figures and just made it so that you could swap heads. I would just get, if they come out with Snow Job, I'll get four Snow Jobs, and then I could just pop a Snake Eyes head on one, and a Duke head on one, and what have you. So the Crimson Immortal, yeah. I mean, again, we we could list these off for hours and hours and hours. Needless to say, there are tons of great figures that we would all love to get. Jonathan, Snake Armor, how would they do it? I think it would just be released as a like the equivalent of like a figure with vehicle. I think that's how they would probably do it. But that's just my opinion. I don't know if that'll be the way that they do it, or if they do it at all. But Python Patrol Major Blood, yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, I don't love the Python Patrol stuff, but like I said, I'll probably buy one of each. So whatever they come out with in that deco is just really cool. Like, and it looks like they were doing a really, really good job of what they're doing with it. But anyways, guys, I said we'd go an hour. We've got an hour and a half. We've got our winner. Eddie is the winner. That's all I've got. So I think that's pretty much a wrap, guys. Joey, Eco Warriors. Yeah, bring it on. I'd go for that. That's pretty much it, guys. Thank you all for joining me. It's always fun when we sort of get together and have these chats. And until next time, it's like I said, this is now on YouTube as well. So I will post a link to the YouTube channel. Pop over there, watch it in the background so it gets a couple views. I'm going to do these either way, but feel free to go over there and like them and subscribe and do all that kind of stuff. I'm just trying to figure out how YouTube works. I don't even know if it's going to post properly or whether it's going to post comments. I don't know how any of that works, but I'll figure it out, and we'll get through this together, guys. But thank you for joining me today. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday and the rest of your weekend, and we will chat again very soon. I'll see you guys next Sunday. Thank you, and bye-bye.